Nationally, obviously, two different ballparks.
Of course, we are talking about the Draven when we talk about Hansama being undefeated, went 6-0 in the LEC and then was absolutely slapped earlier at MSI. There's the Draven banned by Mad. They don't want to see that at all. Olaf as well, and the Krakus removed. So immediately, the teams have been listening to you guys.
This is smart. G2 are taking notes from the T1 bans. They also permabanned Rakan is the third ban there. You know, taking out the Gragas from Niski and then taking out those hard engage options from Mad Lions for their team fights. But the Draven remains banned.
Kasante's value has been increasing dramatically. Both Mad and G2 suffered at the hands of the Korean Kasante. And it looks like that is going to be removed from the pool. Will the Rakan, the Maokai though, is up
Just
and
copy
available.
T1 homework. There you go.
Will it be the Maokai first pick? And it looks like that will be the direction for Mad. What is the answer that G2 have prepared? Of course, Yike has a wide array of different champions that he's more than happy to play into the matchup. The question is, what would G2 look to pair alongside it? Will it be the Aphelios? Will it be the Jinx, as we've often seen be a high priority at this tournament?
Yeah, I think G2 probably look the best when they have got Caps on a facilitating mid and Yike on one of those carries. Love to see them lift up a jungler to be that carry. And here we go. Looks like it might be locked in early.
Yeah, the Nautilus for Caps. We saw him bring it out at the start of play-ins. It is a facilitator in the mid lane. There's the Aphelios alongside it. And I think I very much agree with you, Kobe. Caps at the moment seems to be in a little bit of a slump, but he does still move around the map relatively effectively. And if Yike can get ahead, Caps is great at facilitating him.
As far as I can tell, this will be Hansama's first Aphelios game this year.
Definitely is.
I mean, when we think about it domestically, it was not a champion that he often went for. Usually he would handshake it for the Jinx instead. He also played a lot of Varus during the regular season. Aphelios was something that you don't often associate with the player Hansama, so we'll see how he's able to manage his guns as he brings that out as a debut here this year on MSI.
Yeah, I've got this weird feeling that we're going to get a lot of Jinx Aphelios for this tournament. They're so good at carrying a lot of these team fights. And Aphelios is especially good when there's a lot of melees on the enemy team jumping into you. And so I like this from Mad. They pick up the Jace, some more long range, some more poke options for them so they don't get cut down by that buzzsaw.
It's also something Chasey's very comfortable on in that top lane. Can flex it to mid, although we don't see Niski pick up the Jace too often. Expectations are that Chasey will pilot it in top.
Look at this, the Kha'Zix locked in for Yike. You would assume that the Nautilus is going to the mid lane. Of course, it can be flexed. We know that that is the beauty of the champion. So we'll have to wait and see for sure which direction it does go in. With the Braum being banned, so something that G2 did struggle with. And so they want to remove that and take it off the board.
Yeah, take away any more of these team fighting supports here from Mad Lions. Remove some of those options. This is right up G2's alley, though. This is exactly what I want to see from them. You know, have Yike on one of those scary carry champions in the Kha'Zix. Even though some people already are starting to detract from assassin jungle gameplay, now you have to worry about some big AoEs.
Kennen taken away by Mad Lions. Of course, we have seen Broken Blade bring that out a couple of times so far at MSI. The Braum as well, very strong into the Nautilus, so I'm not really too surprised that G2 decide to ban it out. I do wonder where Mad will go. They're looking for mid support on 4-5 here.
And the Scion is up too. You know, Broken Blade usually plays a lot of carry champions, but Scion into Jace has been very, very potent soak up. And Scion allows you to do all those level 1s invades as well.
G2 have the luxury of going for something like a Tahm Kenshi if they want to. Of course, it would guarantee where that Nautilus would be going, but perhaps they're more than happy to accept that. Remember that you don't know where the Jace is going. You did mention it earlier, Medic, the flexibility of Chasey and Niski being able to play it. But maybe that's the safer approach with the Thresh band away. I wonder if they are...
There's the Scion.
I wonder what they are considering here.
Good call there on the Scion ban, Kobe. I do wonder if G2 will just go safe top. You could pick something like Nah here for Broken Blade. Yeah, he's not the most experienced on it, but it's something all top laners really know. Instead, it looks like they might pick their support here, reveal the fact that this Nautilus is going mid as we expected, and then look for that top lane counter on 5. Ooh, Annie, okay. I mean, still flex.
You can still flex it. That's
flex them all over the place, man. They've gone to Muscle Beach.
The expectation is, though, that this Annie
nice NA reference. I like that. I feel welcome here.
Well, I think this Annie is likely to go into the mid lane with the Nautilus moving down into support. We did hear Mickey bantering in play-ins that he believes that he is the stronger Nautilus player. Of course, Cap's no stranger to the Annie as well, with the Leona being locked in for Mad, so they want a little bit more engaged to follow up alongside the Maokai. Does give them a very proactive bot side of the map to play through as well if they want to do that in the early game. The question is, how will they round out their draft? And it looks like it's going to be the Gnar.
Okay, so they are going to have Niski take up the Jace this time around. Soak it up in the mid lane with the extra bit here.
So Mad do have a decent amount of range.
Yes! Yasuo counter! One of the oldest and most exciting counters to Gnar. Find the Gnar up there. As soon as the Gnar is mini form, go in for the trades. Oh my goodness, Broken Blade, yes, deliver the excitement.
It's such a potentially volatile lane though. You look at...
Oh yeah, it's volatile, all right, because Yasuo has to get in there to go for the trades. But you go in when the minions are in the line, so you can still use one of your enemy minions to jump back out with the E. You're still going to need some jungler attention, though, to make sure you've got the openings to put the pressure on the Gnar. A lot of it is with kill pressure up there.
Yeah, I feel like that G2 could have just rounded out their draft with a solid front line, something like a Malphite that can just act as a reliable engage, and then they're like, no, we're going to take the skill match up top. Elyoya, wouldn't be surprised to see him path towards the top side of the map, but range is something I think Mad have a lot of with Jinx, Jace, and Gnar. They have a lot of poke at their disposal. They have a lot of ways to enter, especially around these neutral objectives, and face checking into Mad lines is going to be very challenging. G2, I think, don't have the easiest engage, given that they're very reliant on Nautilus finding that initial hook. So I think that when it comes to the team fights, Mad have a lot more options to get those better fights.
And from the G2 side, I feel like there's a lot on Caps actually finding roam timers with this Annie. Caps has had games where he has roamed to both side lanes successfully, even before 5 minutes. If you can get that Annie up there roaming to the top side too, Gnar could be under a tremendous amount of pressure. There's so much volatility here. This is going to be an exciting one.
London, Europe! It's League of Legends European Edition as we have a rematch between Mad and G2. One of us will win. Isn't that great? We'll have a European victor here at MSI. Looking forward to it. I have done a bit of crunching of the numbers here, and I'm pretty sure this is Broken Blade's first Yasuo game ever in competitive play. I could be proven wrong by our stats team, but from everything I've had a look, it's something we haven't quite seen. He did play it in the TCL back in 2017, but not in a major region.
I mean, the truth is, Medic, being on G2, playing Yasuo is a rite of passage, you know? Everyone in G2's history has played Yasuo at some point, or will play it in the future at some point. This is just Broken Blade's opportunity to prove himself. We'll see how he does in the top lane matchup, and we'll crucially keep our eyes on these early junglers, as we may be seeing a bit of a delayed invade here from G2, I imagine, just to get a bit of information.
And part of the, I mean, Yasuo is a very old, counter into Gnar. The matchups used to be so much more volatile. Now Gnar, you can go full defensive runes here. He's got the extra healing from the fleet, plus the double resolve secondary for himself as well. So it's going to take a lot of effort to make it worthwhile, but very, very exciting with all of the damage on the top triangle of the map. And both junglers are starting on their top side of the map as well.
I wonder if this Kha'Zix will do a full clear top into looking for something already I see on the minimap. Broken Blade looking to leverage the strength of the Yasuo, as we once again see a bit of trading in mid lane as well. Caps versus Niski, a mid lane matchup we've seen many times before, and Caps is definitely a player we'll be keeping our eyes on this series. He very much struggled when playing against Chovy. Various interviews that he's done, he commented a lot on his own performance and how he expects better of himself. And I know that many European fans want to see Caps succeed on the international stage. See if he can do that against Niski, who, really good trade from him. Should be able to force Caps back here.
Caps knocked back by Niski. In the end, both of them about 100 HP. Biscuits and potions running on either of them. So Yike could look towards the mid lane. Did do that full clear. Elyoya cleared his entire top side as well. They know that he did this because they have a ward on the red buff, but Yike missed! The Void spikes!
And Niski holds his flash. The Bud jumps over the wall. Niski holds his flash. Remains cool. The W does miss. And that is a swing and a miss, but that is what you still want to go for. Try and get the pressure mid so that Caps can actually roam like we were talking about. Actually get him unlocked from this mid lane, because otherwise the Jace is just looking for constant pressure there to keep the Annie under turret and make you pay with turret plates.
Broken Blade dashing around as much as he can in the top lane, but he was hit by the wallop, he was hit by the house, and he loses out on the trade overall. Of course, he can regenerate that shield through his passive, which gives him a little bit more trading prowess, but Mechanard does as well for Chasey. And you did talk a little bit about Caps, Vedi, as Chasey dodges away from Broken Blade, but I think on the other side, you have to look at Niski and the fact that he is consistently placed well in Europe and even in the LCS when he was over there, but has never really taken the next step on an international stage. Of course, here in the European versus European matchup, doesn't give you as much gravitas as beating a Faker. Right. But for Niski to step up in this series and really start performing would definitely be a mark in the win column for him. Ooh, Flash goes down though, Kazi flashes away from the hook. Hansama flashing forward, has that Graviton locked in, and Kazi has been left to his own devices, and Mickey and Hansama dive in on him. First blood, G2.
Huge here for the bottom lane, left alone, and they take advantage. Meanwhile, vision around mid lane is going to be important in allowing Nissi to continue to push in on Caps, and so they have junglers constantly here, and on a ward.
Yike still has the flash, has the jump. Can dash across into the Dragon Pit, Niski collapsing.
And there's a whole wave pushed into the tower on bottom side too. Can we see if that was a cannon wave down there? Because that thing is dying right now. Okay, it is a cannon wave.
Kazi, he's got the zap. No -1s here. Kazi able to secure it.
So, a lot of people backing on top of wards this game. Difference is, Yike was able to get away with his life. As somehow the TSM chants have made it here to London.
I feel at home.
Run from it, hide from it, you will never escape.
Thank you, London. Honestly, though, top side here, we're expecting some extra volatility. It's been pretty close farming. Cole picked up here for a Broken Blade as well on the later back, so it's going to take a while to pop.
Yeah, Yike has been looking for a few opportunities here and there. Of course, his back did get delayed after that little skirmish that he ran into, which means that Elyoya has just been power farming throughout the jungle. You can see he does have a healthy camp lead over his opposition, but he hasn't really been able to do much on the map so far. Not that crazy for a Maokai, as Yike will hover around the top side of the map.
Hilly, hook, rooted, flash forward, shielded but cleanse away from Hansama. Hilly stepping forward further. Can't get too much more damage down, takes half his health in the trade.
Bottom line's going to be really important too, because if you get Mickey to roam over towards the Yasuo post level 6, that's where your knockups actually come from. There's no knockups for G2 in mid or jungle for any of those early ganks up there, and this
try and trade back here, keeps the Tibbers under the tower to make sure it loses some health. Caps walks out of range to bring it back. Elioya now looking for the dive down towards this bottom side. No cleanse, no flash on Hansama. The hook comes out from Mickey, but the cannon tanking the tower for now. Hansama and Mickey able to retreat to the safety of their turret.
Yeah, already chunked out Leona here pretty heavily, so don't want to go too risky.
A big missed opportunity
here
for Mad.
Hilly, Riptide coming down. The root's going to land with flame jumpers, but Hansama doing so much work. Mickey's already taking the Hansama low now. The root's going to come on to Kazi as Hansama tries to trade back. Mickey trying to escape to the safety of his jungler, but Yike flashes forward immediately past him. Mickey with the shield will survive. He tanks the cat. And now Yike and Elioya in a face-off. Yike should be able to escape from this one. Elioya doesn't have the flash and has no way to close the gap.
Wow. So, Mad, they see an opportunity to find the re-engage, and they're able to get themselves an initial kill. But G2 quick to trade in kind as Yike responds. Caps, very low on mana, shouldn't have the damage. And you can see the cover from Mad Lions here to help Niski get back to base safely. A lot of aggression back and forth between the two mid laners here. Niski accruing a small CS advantage. The G2 slowly building a gold advantage. 900 is the lead for now. But Mad have found a good window where they can move into the enemy top side.
Yep, support roam timers. You see Hylissang coming to work with Elyoya. Meanwhile, it's immediately back to lane for Mickey on the Nautilus. So there's going to be a slight window of 2v1 that Karzi's going to have to play very safe down there again. Last time we saw G2 really taking advantage of that window.
It's also something that Yike respects by not going into his red side jungle. It's like, well, we don't know where the enemy support was. We know he was around mid lane pushing out that wave, so I'm just going to sacrifice these top side camps. The wave pushed out against Kazi means that he will lose quite a lot.
All right, here's our replay. As Mickey's going to force it onto Hilly, the low health Leona that we saw just before the tower dive. But since Hansama does not have his flash anymore, he's going to be trapped inside the alcove, and it's this jungler's eating up here. Mickey's so close. Single-digit HP right there on the Nautilus. Shields up the sapling as well.
Yeah, initially I thought in that play it was Mad that were the aggressors, but Mickey believing that with the health advantage they had, they could secure that kill. Greatly underestimated the durability of the Leona in that situation, and Mad were able to get at least a kill back.
And last time we saw Hillsang, he was roaming up here with the Maokai to lay down some early vision as Elyoya gets behind Broken Blade.
Broken Blade flashes under the tower. Elyoya can knock him back. The Gnar into the wall will lock him up, but Broken Blade still pretty healthy. Half of his health remaining. The roots come out. Broken Blade dashes in once again. The wall up the last breath, but Broken Blade will fall in the 2v1. Meanwhile, on the bottom side of the map, Niski is collapsing here. Mickey tries to flash away from the knock, but Hansama red white. He's looking for the fight, but he's knocked back into the midst of three members of Mad. He takes the 1-for-1.
He gets the 1-for-1, so they get kills on both sides of the map, and it's going to turn into a Rift Herald as well for topside because Yike was able to chase him off there. Elyoya goes for the recall on Maokai. What a gank, though.
Wow, very explosive here in the early game between G2 and Mads. The TP will come through from Niski. He did lose a couple of CS there as Caps also secured the plates, but I was skeptical about seeing Hansama on the Ophelio, something that we often don't associate with him, but you give him the right guns and he knows that he has the tools, even in a 1v3, to walk away with a kill.
And it is something he played, but not recently. He has 30 games on it across his career, about a 56% win rate, played that a lot back in 2021, back in 2020, and a little bit on TL when he was there. But for the moment, he is playing very well in this game. About 7 CS up, about 600 gold as well. As we look for the last breath up towards the top side, Chasey can just dash away. Hillsang waiting to see if Mickey and Hansama step too far forward. Goes in, only level 5, no solar flare on him. Hansama with the cleanse TP. Immediately invested by G2 as they look to turn the play around. Yike's going to dash across the wall, but Elyoya can twist it advance and escape to the minion. Niski trading onto Yike though. That Karzik almost went splat. And Niski unable to put any more damage down.
Yike immediately popping the ultimate there so that there was no target for Niski to lock onto. But
They got to get pushed off here. Caps is holding stun.
Look at all the chakrams as well on Hansama.
Yike has he'll put it down, flash forward. Mickey looking for something. Hillsang will force him, make that rocket coming out as well as Cass takes up the tower. Yike so low. Niski trying to do what he can. The Tibbers pulled back, and in the end, another 1-for-1. Both the supports fall.
Tibbers here trying to block and hold their time. Nobody dies to an extra shock blast. Extra turret plate goes down to nothing, but it's going to also be topside.
Yike.
There's no way. There's no way he
Yike.
dies.
Yike.
It's fine.
Yike.
It's fine.
Yike. Oh. That would have been a yikes.
It's actually really funny too, because you can leash jungle camps really easily now since they don't fully hard reset. So pretty easily managed there by Yike. Meanwhile, topside, I want to shout out, it is going to be the recall, and Broken Blade gets the minions all the way up to tower. But here's a look at the dive. They got the Maokai ultimate going, and so Mickey knows as soon as he's in down there, he's also going to go down.
Oh, Mickey looking to lose his life once again. An easy pickup for the Mad Lions, but I think that G2 forcing that play in bot side, while initially it looks good, Niski's Shock Blast did so much to mitigate the follow-up because of how much damage it did onto Yike on the back end. Mad were quick to punish. They find themselves another punish as they secure a pick onto Mickey, and they will lock in their first dragon of the game. Hansama now makes his way down to the mid lane. I wonder if they'll shift Caps over to bot. He doesn't have his TP available, but they have to be paranoid about a potential dive, which is why they are just stacking in mid for now.
Always a risk when you start moving your AD carry and your support into the mid lane that people on the side lane can be a little bit weaker. Caps actually joining up with Mickey and Hansama, working his way downtown, moving fast, and now he's going to go home to the mid lane as Hansama and Mickey just catch the wave. A shock blast hits Yike in the back and takes about a third of his HP. Niski in a pretty strong position. Doesn't have first item yet, but already serrated Turk. Manamune going to be stacking up as he's got almost 200 stacks on his tier.
Yeah, that poke damage is going to be pretty important for them for their soften up before the objectives. Another hook from Mickey.
Really? There's a Gravitum on Hansama. The root's going to come out, and Mickey has every type of CC at his disposal. A slow, a stun, a root, everything you can do, and a pull back with the airborne, the knock-up as Hansama kills off Hilly.
Mickey has had his number.
What? That was like 28 HP.
Perfectly calculated by Mickey there, but the second time now we've seen the bot lane with their backs disjointed ever so slightly, and Mickey was very ready to punish that, but now G2 are threatening a dive bot lane.
Alura is here. Pops out the Nature's Grasp. Caps dodges away from the zap, and Yike can just dash across the wall. So in the end, the dive comes to naught, but did have to invest the Maokai ultimate to stop it from happening.
Yeah, it's been pretty good defense for Mad Lions, you know, defending the recent couple of dives on bottom side. It's just that their bottom lane keeps getting picked off by Mickey when they're on those desynced timers for themselves, really costing them in gold.
It's a battle that's always a lot of fun to see. The two best supports to ever come out of Europe, Hylissang versus Mickey. Constantly trading near the top of the table. And here, trading to be Europe's last hope at MSI as Yike dashes forward. Hylissang pops the Eclipse. The hook's going to land, though. And now they try and turn it back onto Yike. He is low, but Mickey flashes in front of the Zap. Yike, though, falls first, and Kazi now starts to get excited. And the crowd does, too. Kazi opens up on Mickey, and there's no escape for the Nautilus. Sent to the depths below. He uses the Titan's Wrath for a shield, but the flames will follow him down. Niski now trading onto Hans Summer. No mana, really. And the Super Mega Death Rocket won't find its mark as Niski secures the shutdown.
3 members lose their life as Mad once again find a great play in the bot side of the map. Niski is finding so many opportunities to unlock himself and able to find that shutdown onto Hans, funnels more gold into him, and now Kazi finds himself with 4 kills.
This game is so fun. The war over bottom lane continuing to rage, and Mad Lions getting the advantage this time around, because you saw Cap stayed in mid lane on the Annie. Meanwhile, river control for Mad Lions. Maokai's walking down. So even though Hilly gets low, he uses his E to get to the other side of Yike, and then Elyoya flashes in to root and save him.
I think we've seen in a number of these skirmishes the durability of the Leona really paying off, and Mickey flashing onto Kazi thinking that Hylissang's death was a done deal so they could set up for the next kill, but there was no follow-up because they weren't able to get that initial kill onto Hylissang, and then Hans Summer, he didn't really have any resources left as Niski secures himself another big pick. The Mad Lions have been able to equalize the goal.
Yeah, I mean, those buffs to hammer form for Jace really were quite potent there, and Niski definitely making a lot of roam timers work.
G2 doing a good job of picking up gold across the map, though. They are well in advantage in terms of plates, about 700 gold in the lead overall. But I will say, this is kind of how Mad Lions were able to make their lower bracket run in Europe, winning through Kazi. Even against Fnatic, it was Kazi getting a quadra on the Jinx that actually was able to turn that game around for them. And giving Kazi the ability to carry has worked out well for Mad in the past.
Yeah, and now we're getting towards the mid game. So as Broken Blade goes on, chasing gets his flash. Now we're getting towards the mid game where you also get to see the big difference in these 2 jungle champions. As we get a 1v1 preview.
Chase is going to get up to Mega here. I don't think G2 really want to go for the dive. Oh, but they're going to TP in. Rift out used as well. G2 have other things on their mind. The root's going to land on the Broken Blade soon. Make that coming in as well. Hans Summer is here to join the party alongside Caps. And Elyoya and Chasey trying to survive underneath the tower. In the end, Yike will get 1. They'll get 2 in the dive. Perfectly executed by G2.
Niski continues to push in the bot lane. He could very well secure another tower as Kazi does the same thing. The reality is that while the dive ends up working out for G2, they had to invest a lot to make it happen. They pick up 2 kills. They should be able to secure 2 towers. But Mad is going to do the exact same on the cross map. They get the tier 1 in bot, the tier 2 in bot, and the tier 1 in mid lane. Overall, a pretty even trade across the board.
Yeah, look at that. Still very, very close right now. Hylissang getting back to try and retake some vision control here pretty early as G2 go for it. But talking about those 2 jungle champions, once again, the difference really becomes when you get to these team fights and why, even with all these shiny new buffs on Kha'Zix, some people start to pull away from the champion in pro play because Maokai is just so OP in setting up for objectives and team fight zone control. You talk about playing around Karzi, Maokai is perfect for it. Really setting up for him with the ultimate, with the twisted advances for Peel, and you're going to see a pretty big difference there in jungle ability to peel versus jungle ability to actually bring the damage to isolated targets on picks.
Solar Flare, and Summer pops the cleanse. See Mad just looking to get that spells out before the fight really begins. Flashes across the board as well as the dragon has spawned. Mickey down to half HP, taking the brunt of a shot blast to the back, and now Mickey has to start to retreat behind the tankier members of his team, but there aren't that many tanky members. Kha'Zix and Yasuo not the best front line. Dredge line going in. Mickey already low. Pops the depth charge as well. Mickey surviving and Chasey already down. The dragon secured by G2. And now they really start to open up. Broken Blade dashing in. Niski able to get away for the moment, but Hans Summer untouched through the entirety of the fight. He gets a double and 1 for Caps on top. Hans Summer takes the triple and Mad are wiped away.
Oh, G2's going to steamroll them now. Yikes on the hunt. They're going to get a tower at least afterwards.
G2 walk away with a massive victory. Yike, he is sniffing for more. He is trying to hunt for an extra pick, but Niski will not allow it. The Dragon going in favor of G2, and I think we didn't even get to see I don't think we actually got to see Broken Blade use that ultimate. I thought that he would use the wind wall to block the Nature's Grasp and then perhaps follow up on an engage from Mickey. Hang on a second.
He's out.
He should be fine.
Yeah, he did get popped. He got popped pretty quickly because Mickey's the main front line here, and he's already at 50% health when they start. So G2 actually do a really good job of pulling Mad Lions towards the center of the river here. Then Mickey goes in, gets the knock-up.
Yeah, that two-man knock-up was absolutely massive from Mickey because he really should have just died right at the start of the fight. But it's the front line of Mad that get chain CC'd into death. And then Kazi trying to, after getting that initial reset, looks to clean up the fight, but Hansummer in such a clean position allows himself to find the 1v1, and we all know what Aphelios is like. We've seen that 1v1 multiple times, and Aphelios walked away with a kill.
Yeah, really good job there with the follow-up from Caps. Mickey combo into Tibbers combo, and they kind of annihilate that front line difference.
Hook's gonna land, and Leoya uses the ultimate to try and disengage, but perhaps, in fact, it wasn't engaged. The TP out, counter TP used by Mad Lions. Hansummer, red-white, looking for a fight once again. He's taken down Niski already, and more are sure to follow. Mad Lions getting ripped to shreds by G2 in the topside river, and Leoya tries to get away, but Tibbers, the stun, the lockup, and a twisted advance won't be enough. G2 take 4-0.
Wow, an unexpected fight in the river. They weren't even fighting over an objective, but it very quickly devolved into madness as G2 found pick after pick. The Baron spawns perfectly on time, and they're looking to snowball this game out of Mad's hands.
Yeah, hello Baron, goodbye Baron. Right on spawn, 20 minutes on the dot. They're gonna take it. Chasey's coming over, but the chances here are below 1%.
I think we all agree with you. It would have been one of the strangest steals I think I've ever seen. And although Europe are very good at Baron throws at this MSI, would have been a bit of a spectacular
against
one.
Another European team,
True. I mean, you can.
Well, you probably can.
I mean, this game has just been blown wide open. Back-to-back massive teamfight victories for G2. And once again, Mickey starts it out. He got the hook into the ultimate here to buy time for Teleport to come in. And they're all right on him, immediately taking down Niski.
Just the collapse is so quick. And props to Mickey. You know, it was Faker who I saw doing this really well when he played Nautilus earlier in the week. But ulting the backline rather than the person in front of you means that you get that initial knockup on the people in front while also kind of zoning someone out of the fight. And we've seen that twice now in these fights where Mickey's ulti has just provided so much value that it makes it so difficult for Mad to really follow up on any initial engage that they find.
And Mad Lions running the two-carry team here with both Karzi and Niski just getting annihilated so early. Meanwhile, G2 have 4 damage threats on their side.
I will say, if you go Aftershock, Evans Shroud, Nautilus, that's 5 damage. 5 damage on Emax, absolutely shred through the enemy team. But for the moment, G2 very much in the driver's seat, 7,000 gold ahead. And as you said, Kobe, Red Bull Baron power play really starting to explode this game in favor of G2.
Hansummer has been involved in every kill. Like, this has been very much the Hansummer show. His Aphelios is doing some serious work right now. Once again, both teams gathering around the bot side jungle. Not really playing for any objective here. They need to get that push in, but with the Dragon spawning very soon, I guess the fight is for vision as G2 continue pushing the bot side. Threaten this tower. Mad tried to defend.
Dragon up in 30 seconds. Nature's Grasp coming out as Mad Lions perhaps look for a little bit of an engage. Yike dodges away from the Zenith Blade and the Infernum ultimate with the Moonlight Vigil into the Tibbers. It's just decimation, demolition in the bot lane here for G2. Anything that Mad try to do is answered by the unrelenting hand of G2. 5-for-1 in the bot lane.
All right, it's a massacre at this point. 22.5 minutes, G2 on the inhibitor turrets.
G2, this is what they look like domestically. In winter, when they were on form, they would decimate their European competition, and they're doing it here in this first game in this best of 5.
G2 show us that even though we might be outside of the European Union, Europe can still show up as they get the 1-0 up against Mad Lions.
Woo! It's crazy how quickly that game snowballed out of Mad's control. It felt like that they put themselves in a good position. Niski had a very healthy lead over Caps in the mid lane. Kazi came out of the laning phase 4-2.